From a life-altering ski accident, our next guest has been through a few things that have inspired him to use his personal journey to help others. Joining us now is real estate entrepreneur, mental health advocate, and author Jarek Tadla. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful to have you on the couch with us.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so your background, as I mentioned, is in real estate and entrepreneurship, but what was your motivation for deciding to speak on men's mental health stigmas?
You know, I retired very early at the age of 28, and I accomplished financially health very early in my age. And when I get to the top of the mountains, I realize it's not it. And my first suicidal thoughts came in 2008 when the market crashed. I recovered. I wasn't aware of it yet how deep the problem is. I didn't realize that mental health is so important because I got out of the market recovery. I thought that I'm good. Until 2020, after COVID, I realized how important it is, and I hit the bottom of the bottom, being on the top of the mountains. The whole society thought Jarek got everything figured it out, and Jarek didn't. They have voices in my head that was keep telling me that the struggle, and I was embarrassed to address the issues. And I was hiding, and I was hiding, and there was more pain and more pain coming through, and I realized I have to share my experiences.
Yes, and there's power in that. You know, I think there's also a healing internally that happens,
Yes.
and then there's power in sharing your story. So what is the meaning behind the title of your new book?
The meaning of the book is not enoughness, it's a gift of the curse, because of the not enoughness give me the power of going through, to struggling, to prove it to everybody. But the problem is I forgot about myself. You know, we're looking for all the outside sources to validate who we are. But if we forgot about ourselves, that's where the pain and the deep crush comes. And that's what happened to me. Yeah. And first I was hiding, I wasn't aware of it. Because, you know, and every time I hit the wall, I was like, oh, I want to do more. I want to do more. First it was real estate. Then it was doing Ironmans, doing competition, you know. And it reached a point that I have to speak up. I have to speak up. I have to go to work, start the healing, start the inner process. And I realized everything we have is within us. And as I started looking for validation from the outside world and society, that always figured out, Jarek got everything good. And if I'm the one being on the top of the mountains, there's a lot of people out there that are going through real struggles and real problems. And I want to hear them, you know, I want to hear my voice, and I want to have all the men to have the voice to share the stories. Yes. And not be embarrassed, become vulnerable, and tell us, you know, because we don't give the expectation of society that by being vulnerable is being weak. We all both have the energy, feminine and masculine, and we don't have to hide behind it.
And, you know, we were talking a little bit about this earlier today, sort of during the break, and, you know, we were saying how vulnerability is a form of strength. And so, obviously, there's all of these stigmas around masculinity. So how has that impacted not just your life, but others that you're seeing this sort of impact of those stigmas?
You know, when I become vulnerable, we wrote the story in our head that when you become vulnerable, you become victim of the circumstances. But sometimes you got to tell your story in order to connect. And when you connect, we connect with the other people. When you share your story and you suddenly see how much help you give, that's when I realized that, you know, we really have to speak about mental health. We got 545,000 suicides committed by men out of 700 a year. And the awareness is not there. Nobody talk. Well, we talk about it, but not as much as we should. You know, because every time the men become, you know, vulnerable or become weak, and we have the voices, we have the emotions, we have the feelings, and we have to hide because we're the protectors, we're the providers. And it's okay to share it. It's okay to discuss those feelings. And that's how it started. Now,
how do you balance striving for high achievement with also maintaining your well-being?
I'm not. I'm here. I'm not. This is exactly what I'm here. Because people think it's like, oh, now he's got it figured out. No, this is never-ending journey. You always work on yourself and also on the business, on being, you know, good provider, working on the relationship with your family. Everything, like, it's, you know, we need balance in life. And it's so hard because depending what stage you're in. So it's hard to have emotional balance. It's hard to have financial balance, health, mental health, emotional health, and relationship, and spirituality.
Well, Jarek, there's so much more we could talk about if we had more time. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and